Hi, thanks for joining today to view an updated demo of the Concord platform. This demo is taking place in July of 2024. We just had some exciting new releases, so I want to show an updated demo of what things look like in the platform. My name is Zach Kinsey. I've been with Concord now for about 8.5 years, and I considered myself to be a product expert, so excited to show you around the system today. The first thing that you'll notice about Concord is that it's easy to access. It is cloud-based. Everything's hosted on AWS or the Amazon cloud. So it's very easy to get in whether you're using a smartphone, tablet, any type of computer or device. The first screen that you're going to see when you log into the system is the screen we're seeing here. This is what we call the contract inbox view. Every line on this screen is an individual agreement or document. I can see the stage that the document's in, the title, who it's with, when it was created, signed, modified, ends, etc. And I can even customize this view by choosing to select or deselect different fields, and I can move these columns around as well. The idea behind this view is to look similar to a Gmail or email inbox. It's meant to look like something very familiar so that you can come in and really just start using the system right away. Once you're done working on a document, you can simply archive it to take it out of this view and then focus on the documents that need your attention. And things will populate here automatically as people share them with you or as your documents have changes made to them. As far as when you do archive something, it's going to show up here still in one of your folders. The folders are how we organize all of the documents in the Concord platform. And the folders serve a couple important purposes. Number one, organization. So you can choose to organize by things like contract type, department, project, whatever makes sense for your business. The folders are also important for document access rights. So as you start having lots of different users and lots of different use cases in the system, you're probably going to want to limit what people can see, especially because a lot of these contracts or documents will probably be fairly sensitive in nature. And so you can limit that access based on the folder permission. So for example, if I'm on a sales team and I have access to the sales folder, I can see those agreements. If I don't have access to the HR folder, I won't see any of those documents in the system. So I won't see them when I search. I won't see them, anywhere really in the system. The next thing to cover here, a few other things in the inbox. So we've got our task view. If you did have a task, which is something you need to either sign or approve, that's going to show up here. We have our starred documents. This is a relatively new feature in Concord. It's kind of like your favorites. So if you have certain documents you use over and over again, like certain templates, you can star them, and then that way you can quickly find them here in the system. We do also have the different document stages so that I can easily tell where things are at in the process, and I could click into any one of these to take a look at those. So maybe I want to see how many contracts I have in signature pending or review or signed. It's easy to jump in and take a look. From the screen, I can also create documents. So here I have a few options. First of all, new document to sign. This is for things that have not been signed yet. I can go ahead and upload something from outside the platform and begin working on that in Concord. So typically this is used for, let's say, third-party paper. Someone sends you something, you want to upload it and send it out for review and signature. You can do that here through the system. You can also create templates in Concord. We have a great new integration with HubSpot. We still have our integration with Salesforce. And then you can also just use the standard templates here in the system. We even have a template that works with bulk send, and it does a mail merge. So if you wanted to send the same template out to lots of different people, you could do that as well. So lots of different options when it comes to templating and interacting with different systems. Last of all, we have the ability to upload contracts from outside of Concord to bring them into that database or the repository. We have both a single and a bulk upload option. And I'll be talking more about this a little bit later when we talk about the post-signature process and the data that we're extracting from our contracts. But just know that we have both the single and the bulk upload. For people that are interested in looking at Concord, the bulk upload is very important because you probably have a bunch of contracts or documents sitting somewhere, and you want to be able to bring those into the system so that you can, extract that data from them, start getting deadline alerts, and report on them and search across them. And so that bulk upload becomes very important in the system. I'm going to go ahead and walk through an actual document or contract process from start to finish. To do that, I'm going to start with a contract template here in the system. So this is going to load a standard template that I have already in the platform. This was just a Word doc that I took and uploaded into Concord. Once I upload it, or once you upload it in, you can then customize it. So if you wanted to add specific fields to the document here, you can. So for example, I could put in some signature fields, some standard data fields, and then also smart fields. Smart fields are just custom fields you can create in Concord, and then you can insert them right into that document. And the great thing with smart fields is you can choose if they're required or not. You can also choose who needs to fill them out. So is it someone internal that needs to fill that out or external? Who might that be? In addition to the fields, we have the approval workflow. So if you wanted to set up some automated approval routing within the system, you can do that here in Concord as well. So maybe for every sales contract that goes out, you've got a deal desk, or you have different people in the legal team that need to review that before it can be, ultimately shared or signed. And so you can set up different types of workflows here in the system. You can do single-step workflows, multi-step workflows, really whatever you want to build out, you probably can. It's very customizable. And in addition to that, we even have what you call a conditional step or a conditional workflow that allows you to say, hey, based on what's entered into a certain smart field, we can then choose, who that should be routed to. So where we see this used most often is, let's say the contract is, let's say that you have an internal policy that says any contract over $10,000 needs to be approved by the finance team or the executive team. And so you could set that up as that conditional workflow here in the system. Once you apply a workflow to a template, anyone who uses that template will automatically go through that workflow. We also have the built-in e-signature, so choosing how many signers you want. You can even choose things like signing order, auto request signatures, and you can set up those preset signature blocks. The great thing is very similar to using DocuSign or Adobe Sign. It is a replacement for those tools, so when you buy Concord, you don't have to also go and buy an e-signature tool. It's all built right into the Concord platform. And with the e-signature, like I said, choose how many signers you want, signing order, and you can put the signature into the body of the document or at the very bottom here in the signature block as well. And then one other thing to point out here is the clause library option, which is pretty popular. This allows you to actually choose from a list of clauses. This library is something that you as a user of the system could actually build out with whatever language you prefer. So this could be your preferred language, and then you can insert that while you're drafting or negotiating the contract. I'm going to go ahead and just save this, and we're going to kick this off into an individual draft of this agreement. So to do that, I'm going to click on Start Draft. And now Concord will actually walk me through filling out some fields that are assigned to me. So in this case, I've got a few fields here. I'll fill them out. And now I could do a few things. If I wanted to, I could actually kick off the approval workflow, which would automatically send an email request to my colleagues to have them start looking at that. The other thing I can do is simply click on share here at the top right, and I can share this out with whoever I'd like to send it to. So in this case, I'm going to send it to Mike, who's one of my vendors. I'm also going to share it to Daniel, who's one of my colleagues, and I can choose what edit rights I want to give to them. So full edit means they can come in and make changes in the document. Limited means they can just fill in required fields, and then viewer means they can just simply see the document. I can put a personal message here that's going to go out with that email invitation, and then I'll send that out from the system. Just to give you an idea of what it looks like when they receive that email request, they're going to receive something similar to this, letting them know they've been invited to that document in Concord. The great thing is this can be custom branded, so you could actually put your logo on this and it can come from your email server. But all they have to do is click Open Document, and that takes them directly into that document here in Concord. So they don't have to sign up or create an account. They just simply click in, and that'll take them to that agreement. Now, this one does have an approval workflow on it. I'm actually the only approver in this case, so I'm just going to go ahead and approve it, which will allow me to move it on to the next step. But that'll give you an idea of that approval, step. Now that I've got the document here, let's say they came in, they viewed the document, which they can see online, just like this. And for those invited guest users, they don't have to have a license on Concord. They don't have to sign up or create anything. All they do is simply click that link, like I said before, and that gets them right into this document. So what can they do from here? They can come in and review the document. They can ask questions. We do have a discussion panel. And the discussion panel is great because it's both public and internal. So public messages will be seen by everyone, and they'll be sent to everyone via email when something's posted here. Internal messages are just for you as an internal user and your colleagues who are also users in the system. So it's a great way to communicate. This is something we actually use a lot at Concord, and a lot of our customers use it every day as well. Let's say that you've already kicked off a negotiation with an agreement, and you want to be able to, communicate back and forth about the contract with your colleagues, maybe some different provisions or changes that they're asking for, and so you can do that here through an internal message. Now, let's say that there is a negotiation that needs to happen. Maybe they have some changes that they want to make, or you have some changes that you want to propose. To do that, I've got track changes turned on right now. I had it turned on the template level, and so I can come in and actually start to mark this up here in the system. And this works very similar to Microsoft Word or Google Docs as far as the actual markups, the red lines and comments go. And one thing you may have noticed there on the comments in the document, you can also choose if they're going to be public or internal as well, which is kind of nice because you can make internal comments that only your colleagues will see. Once I make a markup, I'm going to go ahead and just save it. And Concord will automatically track that in a number of places. So first of all, we've got our audit trail. This is a high-level overview of what's happening in the document. So who's creating new versions, who's signing, who's approving, that's all going to show up here. We've also got a breakdown of the specific comments and changes. So what's been deleted or added or comments have been made, that's going to show up here as well. And then over here we have the actual version history. So if you wanted to compare the versions to each other and see the difference between them, you can see that in the system as well. So right now I'm comparing version 2 with version 1, and I can see the difference between those versions. And every single version that you create, you will be able to compare them to each other. So I could, come in here and select a different version and do a comparison. Now, once we're done with that negotiation, we can move it into the signature process. One thing I want to mention before I do that is Concord does have the ability to export this into Microsoft Word or into Google Docs. So let's say that the person you're negotiating with, they don't want to use Concord for the negotiation for some reason, they just rather do that through Word. You can actually export that right from the system. You can also choose what you want to do with the comments. So do I want to only export the public comments, which you probably do? So I'll go ahead and just make that the option and download that. So now when I open that in Microsoft Word, you can see the changes I made here in Concord and the comments. And so, they could actually take this, create a new version offline, send it back to me, and I would just drag and drop that back into this record, and Concord will automatically version up and track all those changes. So it's really powerful how we have kind of multiple ways that you can actually work on this document through Concord. Once we're done with this negotiation, I'm going to go ahead and clean the version. So I'm going to reject all changes here just to clean it. Of course, I could also do that one by one, and then I'm going to clean any comments there. And we're now ready to move that into signature. So right now I've got my sign button ready to go. I simply click sign, and now I'm ready to sign that agreement. The e-signature is very similar to other tools. You can either type, draw, or upload the image of a signature, and we'll go ahead and just sign and execute. So that's the process to create, negotiate, and sign the document through the Concord platform. I'm now going to walk you through the post-signature process. And one thing I should mention here is once the document is fully signed through Concord, we're going to automatically start our AI data extraction. And so you'll see this thing that is pulling here. It's going to automatically extract some of that key data from the agreement. So I'll talk in a second about exactly what gets extracted, but just know as soon as a document is fully signed, that's when we're going to pull that metadata out of the agreement for you. So let's jump over to a contract that I'm going to upload into the system just so you can see what that full process looks like. To do that, I'm going to do a single upload here like this, and I'm going to drag and drop a contract in. And so this is an agreement that was actually signed through another e-signature tool. I'm just going to upload that into Concord to show you what this process looks like. So you can either sign, of course, create, negotiate, and sign directly in Concord, or you can also bring a document in that's already been signed somewhere else, and we're also going to be able to handle that as well. And I'll show you what happens here. So first of all, with this document, it's going to give it a title, and that'll be based on the file name of the agreement. It's also going to create an OCR copy of the contract or document. So basically, if you upload a scanned image or a text PDF, normally those wouldn't be searchable, without creating an OCR copy. So we're going to create that OCR copy for you. This is just straight text. And so now this is fully searchable on the system. The other thing that we're going to do, and it's already run on this one, is we're going to extract some of that key data from this document. So this data wasn't here before. Our AI has actually gone in and extracted that for you in the system. So first of all, the parties, this is who the document is with or contract is with. We also create a description of the agreement. So it's kind of a nice overview of, hey, this is what the document is or the contract is. And then we extract all the lifecycle information as well. So when the contract was signed, the effective date of the agreement, when it ends. We also have any type of renewal information as well as early termination notices in the system. So what's nice about this is as you upload documents or get them signed, you don't have to think about setting all of that information in Concord. The system's going to do it for you automatically. And what is the output of that? The output is that once a week, every Monday, you're going to receive an alert that looks similar to this as I pull it over. This is going to come to you once a week every Monday, and it's going to show you all the upcoming deadlines in the system. So instead of you having to go into Concord and log in and go look for it, you're actually going to get this in email every Monday to see what's coming up in the near future. And this is going to go to anybody who's a user in Concord that has access to these documents. And there's a lot of different options to customize these notifications. You can turn them off. You can change how far out they start. There's different things you can do with them, which of course our team will be more than happy to help you with, but this is what it looks like as a default. So going back into that document here, there's a few other fields that you can track in the system as well. So I'm going to actually move into one last document here to show you some of the additional functionality with the summary sheet data. A quick pause. This is the global search in Concord. So this allows you to actually search across every single document in the system. It's a great global search. And this is working with that OCR that I talked about before. So now that we've created an OCR copy of every agreement, you now have that text to be able to search across. So if I wanted to search for, specific clause language within the system or whatever it might be, I can do that. So it's a relevant search. It's really powerful. And it's actually something that we probably get the most people like the most in Concord, we get the most compliments on, is they just love to be able to search across all of their documents in the system. You can also filter over here to the far left based on the stage of the agreement, the tags, third parties, and then also companies. But I'm going to look for a specific contract here. So here's a document that's already been signed and active. It does have some attachments on it, and that's one important thing to note is you can attach any type of file to a document or contract record in Concord. So if you wanted to attach an Excel spreadsheet, audio clips, video clips, whatever you want, you can. So those just go here. And then back in that summary sheet view, I just want to touch on a few other things that we can keep track of. First of all, the tags. So you can create whatever tag structure you want in the system. You can create, maybe you're tagging the document based on contract type, department, non-standard terms. Those are some pretty typical ways that people are using tagging. We also have document linking. So if you want to build a hierarchy or a structure for a document and show the relationship between different agreements, that's what this is for. So maybe you have one signed today, 6 months from now there's an amendment to that agreement. I can show that relationship here in the system. We talked about lifecycle, and then down below we have the property section. What this means is if you have certain things that you want to basically keep track of over and over again, like governing state or a property name, like maybe you're a business that has lots of different locations and you want to be able to keep track of hey, which documents are in which location. This is a multi-select option or single select that we've just added into Concord in order to be able to do that. So it just is one other way to standardize your data within the Concord platform. You're going to be able to also report on this, search by this, do different things with this data. And then down below, we have what we call the key term section. So this would be additional deadline alerts. If I want to add a deadline for a certificate of insurance or when a payment's due or project is due, I can add as many deadlines to a single document as I would like, and those are going to send out with that weekly deadline report. I can also track any type of non-standard term or condition, any type of financial term or condition, so total contract value, payments, things like that can all be tracked here in the system as well. These are all just examples, so don't let this throw you off. It's not like this is all going to be there and then you have to deal with it all. These are just examples of what you could track here. Ultimately, it's completely up to you. So it's all customizable. You can track whatever you'd like within the summary sheet here in the system. The data from the summary sheet then pushes into the last part of the demo here, which is the reporting. So this allows you to come in here. I'm first going to start with this deadline report. This is going to show you all of your upcoming deadlines in one place. I can filter these deadlines based on, I could type in a title here, so like third-party name or title. I can filter by type of deadline and then also by tag. So if I want to filter by, maybe contract type, department, projects, I could do that as well. We have some more advanced reporting. This is what we call the custom report builder. And so this allows you to actually take a lot of the data that's in the system and you can then build custom reports with it. So I could come in here and choose which data fields I want to add as columns. These are going to be smart fields as well as some of the standard data fields we have in the tool. And then I can filter down that data as well. So I can filter by third-party name, the stage of the contract, the tags, who created them, and then also date ranges. So if I want to look at all my vendor contracts signed in the past 6 months, or all my sales agreements expiring in the next 2 months, those are types of things that I could build with this report. I can save these reports so I can use them later. I can also export them out into an Excel spreadsheet. Next, we have our analytics dashboard. This is a high-level overview of what's happening in the system, total number of documents over time, and also what stage they're currently in. I can show you how many documents I've created each month and where they're at in the process, the number of contracts signed per month, and ending per month as well. And the last one's kind of nice because if you wanted to, you could actually forecast out which months are going to be the busiest in the near future. So I'm going to push this out until the end of the year, and I can see which months have the most number of documents renewing or ending in that time frame. The last report option here is activity tracking. This just shows you what's happening in the system each day, who's doing what. Not super important probably, but it's kind of interesting to see that data. We do have lots of other automations here. So our smart field library, this is where you're actually going to build out all of your smart fields. You have your properties library, your approval workflows, your parties library. These are all the third parties that you work with in Concord, the clauses, and you can update this clause library, of course, whenever you'd like. And then you have all the integrations. Concord does integrate with a lot of different systems, whether you're integrating through Zapier, the APIs, or webhooks, or lots of out-of-the-box native integrations as well. Salesforce, HubSpot, DocuSign, and then, of course, lots of single sign-on and Active Directory. One last thing to cover is just kind of the back end of the system, how to set Concord up. It's very easy. The first thing you would do is set up all of your users in the tool. You can then put them into teams or groups, and this will really help with the folder access rights that I'll talk about in a second, but you can build whatever teams or groups you would like. You'll give each of them a role. So, choosing and deciding who gets to do what in the system. You've got your admins, managers, creators, collaborators, and viewers. Viewers are actually just read-only users in the system, and then these other users have some specific things they can do. We even have custom roles. So if you wanted to say, hey, this type of user should be able to do this, but not this other thing, those are types of custom roles you could create. And then last of all, we have our folders. So this is where you can create those folders, main and subfolders, and choose who has access to them. If someone has access to the folder, they'll see those documents in the folder. If they don't, they will not. So it's very easy to set up Concord. That's one thing people love most about the Concord platform. We've been in business now for 10 years. It's our 10th year in business. And people love the ease of use, the ease of implementation. They love that they can come in and start using it right away. Their end users can do the same. There's not a lot of training involved. There's not a lot of prep time involved. As you can see, hopefully from this demo, it's very simple. So just come in and start using it. If you're interested in Concord, please feel free to reach out. I'd be more than happy to talk to you. You can, reply to this video on YouTube. You can reach out to me directly if I'm already talking with you, and have a great rest of the day. Thanks.